Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. As you can tell, I have got a little bit of a cold, but we are pushing through here finally on my card using day number 9 of the Craftoween dies. And I'm taking you through here. We're going to put together a bunch of little creatures from several of the different days. So we of course have this little guy from day 9, and I'm only using the horns on him, just creating a little monster, no tail, no wings, no pitchfork, just him by himself. And I'm going to do that in 3 different colors. You'll see why here in a minute. And then we're going to pull in some of the other characters. So we've got the vampire from day 1, we've got I think it's the ghost from day 4, and the skeleton from day 6. So we're going to get all these guys put together, and then we're going to squeeze them in for a selfie. They ran into each other trick-or-treating, and they wanted to commemorate that fun night, so everybody piled in for a picture together. All right, so now we've got everybody ready to go, and I'm just showing you, I have used my Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies. Now this takes 2 dies in order to get a thin frame. So I'm using both a large and small set, and the sizes I've used are 2 3/4 by 4 inches and 3 1/4 by 4.5 inches. Now I cut out that larger size a second time to give myself a gray background. And also this just makes it a little bit easier to place my frame down on top of. Gives me a nice base to work off of. And I've got all my little guys here. I'm going to lay them out. I want them to look sort of squished in there, like they're all trying to fit, but also at the same time, I want you to be able to see the majority of at least their faces, kind of get the idea of their shape. And I loved that the vampire had his arms out, right? Like he was wanting to hug everybody. So I wanted to try and include as much of that as I could. And then you'll see here, I noticed that the ghost and our skeleton, even though there's quite a bit of white there, they kind of lock together really well, just placing that little ghost arm behind our skeleton's head. So I decided to go ahead and run with that. I'm going to do this back layer first, and I'm doing my best to hold everything into place, adding just a dot of glue to make sure that they're stuck down. And then I will go around after I'm sure that that's set and fill in all the other areas. I'm not going to be putting any layer over this other than our white frame to make it look more like a picture. So I really want to make sure that all these little details are glued down nice and tight. There, I'm going to get my little ghost and skeleton together, and again, laying everything out. Doing my best to make sure that they're all close together, but again, showing all the little extra details that some of these guys have. Same thing with this front row. I'm adding a little dot behind everything, and then I will go in and make sure that they are all stuck down nice and tight. I'm really happy with how this turned out. This is very close to what I was envisioning when I die cut and put together all of these little guys. Alright, so now we need to get our frame glued into place here. And rather than using a liquid glue, I decided I would pull out some of my score tape. Because these edges are going to be uneven, I just wanted to make sure that this was stuck down nice and tight. So I have grabbed, this is 1/8 inch score tape, and I'm going to run that around all 4 sides of my frame. And then I'm going to start by laying this down with just one edge at a time. So there I'm using my bone folder to make sure that's stuck nice and tight. And I'm going to choose one of the larger edges. I'm going to start at the top here. I'm going to press that into place. And this way I can kind of check my alignment as I'm going. Then I'll pull away both of my side pieces, pressing those down all except for the very corners. And then lastly, I'll pull away this 4th piece here and press that into place. Again, using my bone folder to make sure that's down nice and tight, especially because our edges are so uneven. Of course, I'll next go ahead and trim off all the excess. And now it's really starting to look like a photograph. So I did decide, and I'm trying to show you here, I'm not sure how well it's coming through, but you could really see how uneven the layers were underneath that frame. So to fix that, I cut out one additional frame. I'm going to add some art glitter glue to the back of that, and I'm just going to layer it on top of the first frame, and this does give a much, much smoother look. So we're going to take our card base over to my MISTI, and I'm going to stamp out the sentiment "Stay Spooky." Now since I'm using a black card base, I'm going to use some of my heat embossing, and I will be going with my trusty Simon Says stamp, Find Detail White. That is my go-to. I love it. So stamping with some Versamark ink. I did hit that with my powder tool just to make sure I don't have any embossing powder sticking where I don't want it. And then I just use a coffee filter, pour a little bit of that powder over top. Usually I end up doing a double coat just to make sure it's nice and thick. Then I'll put all of that away and hit that with my heat tool. I'm going to set that off to the side to cool down, and we'll stamp the inside panel. Using my trusty Simon Says stamp, Intense Black ink, and we went with Trick or Treat, You're So Sweet. I'm going to pop this photo up with some foam dots for a little dimension. And then I'll lay that out here on my card base at a little bit of an angle. And this is an A2 size card base. We'll grab our inside panel, add some ATG to the back, press that down as well. And that will complete our card for today. Here are a few close-ups of the finished card. In the description box below, you'll find my blog post, which has additional photos and links to the supplies I've used. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.